It was an ordinary Sunday until I decided to take a heroic dose of LSD. I had heard stories about its powerful effects, so I wasn't sure what to expect. As the acid began to take effect, my senses started to sharpen and my mind opened up in ways it never had before. In the first half hour, colors bled into one another and shapes shifted before my eyes. There was also a sense of anticipation in the air as I waited for the full effects to set in. For the next half hour, time felt like it was standing still. I felt my consciousness expand as the LSD started to take deeper hold. In this state of heightened awareness, I started to notice the subtle details in my environment. Everything from the carpet to the furniture had a new luminous quality that seemed to rain down with magical sparks of light. I could hear distant echoes coming from all around me and I felt as though I had opened a portal into some unknown realm. I was filled with a sense of euphoria and awe as I continued exploring this newfound landscape. Everywhere I looked there were new surreal images that felt like they were part of some strange dream. Scenes materialized one after another in my mind's eye, ranging from beautiful sunsets melting into place or an enchanted waterfall cascading into the night sky. Everywhere there were signs of life and yet nothing seemed real at the same time, just vivid visions dancing before me like some sort of earthy movie reel. As this inner journey began to unfold, my thoughts became so intricate and profound that it felt like something supernatural was guiding me. Questions about existence, creativity, belonging and more formed inside my head, keeping me engaged in an endless spiral of thought-provoking musings. It wasn't until later that I realized how much power had been harnessed within those moments and what a profound impact they would have on my life moving forward. The sensation soon reached a crescendo as if some great stir within me was finally starting to take shape. Intense waves of pleasure coursed through each breath while feelings of love and acceptance lingered in their wake. For what seemed like eternity but was really only minutes, all doubts faded away, leaving behind nothing but clarity for the present moment and hope for future endeavors alike. For the next hour, I felt as though I had been transported to a higher plane of consciousness. Everything seemed to be in perfect harmony and each moment felt like it was imbued with some sort of divine knowledge. All the worries and anxieties of the world melted away, leaving only feelings of peace and clarity behind. The colors around me became even more vibrant and intense than before. Even the smallest details seemed to be alive with a new intensity that made me pause in awe, insignificant objects taking on an almost divine significance in this heightened state. Everywhere I looked I could see patterns emerging, as if some cosmic tapestry was being weaved around me. My thoughts were no longer confined to mortal logic but rather seemed to be infused with some kind of spiritual insight into the meaning of life itself. Ideas formed in my mind that I couldn't adequately put into words, a feeling like some deep truth had been revealed to me that ordinary language wasn't powerful enough to express its full beauty. As the high progressed further still, I began to recognize strange connections between seemingly disparate things, moments of divine inspiration that soon gave way to bouts of almost euphoric laughter at how absurd yet profound life could be all at once. As if by magic, everything around me began telling stories as vivid images slowly seeped into my head like an eternal dreamscape only broken by brief moments where reality would briefly resurface, providing much-needed grounding amidst these surreal new surroundings. Weaving throughout it all was a sense of pure bliss, a joyousness incomparable to anything else I had ever experienced before, and with it came feelings unlike any other: love, understanding, compassion, creative liberation and unity with all things around me, a truly liberating experience unlike any other. Everywhere around me was evidence that existence itself is built from beautiful acts of love and grace, nature's intricate web playing out all around us every day if we stop long enough to take notice of its brilliance. The peak of the LSD experience arrived around the 3-hour mark, a time where the effects were felt most intensely. It was almost like I was living in another world entirely. Reality seemed to take on a whole new level of intensity, as if I could feel and understand things that had previously eluded me. All around me, subtle energies seemed to be playing out in an ever-changing display of shapes, colors and sounds, my mind filled with abstract concepts that suddenly made perfect sense given these altered circumstances. It felt like I had been given a glimpse into other realms of consciousness, hidden corners of my own mind that no matter how hard I searched before, I had been unable to tap into until now. Everything seemed so vast yet so small at the same time, each moment teeming with its own unique beauty that expanded infinitely outwards into eternity. At this point, I felt fully immersed in this alternate state with no indication it would ease off anytime soon. Ideas formed in my head that would crowd up every corner of my brain before giving way to more profound insights which further propelled me forward into deeper levels of understanding and clarity. Every moment was amplified and enriched by these newfound realizations, as if each one gave deeper insight into life's inner workings and purposes. Needless to say, this was easily the most intense period during my LSD experience, the vividness of its colors mesmerizing and its revelations humbling beyond measure. It was almost as if life itself had offered me a preview into its deepest mysteries before finally subsiding after a few more hours. The effects of the LSD slowly started to decrease around the 4-hour marker period, where reality began to settle back in and I found myself returning to a regular state of consciousness. Although this period was by no means considered easy, it felt like a necessary part of the process, since all good things must eventually come to an end. I could feel myself gradually becoming reacquainted with the world around me as time slowly ticked away. The colors that once seemed so vivid and alive began to dull down, yet its impact on my psyche had already been imprinted on my mind as I felt an incredible sense of insight into my own being and purpose in life. As the evening drew closer, I realized just how much had changed during those 5 hours. Memories rushed back into my head, some which seemed almost forgotten, and suddenly I found myself surrounded by a plethora of new inspirations. It almost felt like I had aged years rather than mere hours, such was the intensity and gravity of what I'd just been through. Everything seemed brighter and full of life, like this newfound perspective had opened up infinite possibilities for greater understanding and creativity moving forward. Despite its challenges, this experience was truly life-changing. Though it did not instantly solve all my problems or make me perfect overnight, it certainly provided me with invaluable insights that will stay with me forever. It's important to remember that challenging yourself is often essential for growth, no matter how uncomfortable or intimidating it may initially seem. As the sun set on the day of my LSD experience, I felt a profound sense of gratitude for what I had just been through. The insights and lessons learned seemed so valuable, it was almost like life itself had revealed its secrets to me and given me a glimpse into a greater level of understanding. It was an intense journey with immense highs and lows, but ultimately something that enriched my entire being in ways that I would have never expected before starting out. It showed me that challenging yourself is not something to be feared as long as you take all the necessary precautions beforehand. It can result in immense personal growth and expansion that can't always be attained through traditional means. This experience will stay with me forever, and while I won't be taking LSD anytime soon, I'm incredibly happy and grateful for all that it brought into my life. Here's to new beginnings.